you guys aware of. One is what's called a T visa or a trafficking visa. If you find yourself in a situation where you have been working for a company and they have not paid you, or a person and they have not paid you, and they're attempting to use your status as a reason that they don't have to pay you, you might be eligible for a T visa. People typically think of that in terms of sex trafficking, but it's also labor trafficking. So if that's something that happens to you, bring that to your DOS's attention and get someone who can help you with that, or come to us at the Nigerian Center. We can help you with that, okay? The other thing that I want you to be careful about is violating your student status. If you're working without permission, that's a violation of your student status. And the reason why it's important is because it could make you ineligible for adjusting your status in the future. It causes unlawful presence. The moment that you violate your status, you are now in the US without lawful permission. So 2 things to note. All right, so first we have here the I-765, which is the actual employment authorization application. The first thing that I want to point out to you is in part 1. If you're applying under this economic hardship, this is an initial permission to accept employment. That doesn't matter if you had a previous EAD under J1, J2, G1, it doesn't matter. If this is your first application under this policy of economic hardship, then you're going to select that it's my initial application right there. Okay. The second thing that I want to point out to you is on this to the side. Excuse me. I already gave the disclaimer that I'm old, so just bear with me. Okay. This section here, right here at the top where it says information about your eligibility category. So I want to move this too. Okay. All right. Eligibility category is going to be different on what category you're applying under. So for this category, it's the C3 III category. Okay, that's the one that applies for economic hardship. And there's only 2 more things I want to point out on here. I zoomed past one of them. Here is where you put your father's name and your mother's name. For people that I work with from certain countries, this can be a little bit confusing. You're going to put your biological parents here, or the parents that matched your birth certificate, okay? And every question on this application is not for you. Some of the questions on this application apply to people who are applying for asylum or VAWA. So just be careful, everyone's not for you. And let's see here. If you have any questions about the form, the best thing to do is EDD application, USCIS. I'm opening this again because I lost it from where I opened it earlier. On the USCIS website, they actually have instructions for every form. So your first place to go to find some resource is right here. Instructions for form I-765. If you don't find the answer there, then you can start your external resources. But first, be sure to review that instruction form, okay? Now, the fees. If you are applying online, then your application fee is $470. If you're applying by paper, meaning you're filling everything out and mailing it into USCIS, the application fee is $520. If you don't have the money to pay the application fee, you can request a fee waiver using this form. That's the I-912. Now, at the top of this form, right here, it asks your reason. What is your financial issue you're having that you're requesting this? Yours is going to be here, C. I have a financial hardship. Okay, but again, this form also has instructions on USCIS's website. So if you have any questions, your first place to go before you ask anyone else is to read this instruction form for the I-912. And let's see, what's the last thing I had here? Oh no, that was the one that was showing you the fee schedule. All right, we did that. So now I'm going to come over here to this Word document. Once you've got this form completed, that's the I-765 form, you've got your filing fee or your request for a fee waiver. You're also going to submit 2 passport-sized photos. Those are the photos they're going to use to generate your work permit card. A copy of your government-issued photo identification, proof of your school enrollment showing that you're in good standing with the school, a copy of your current I-20, a copy of your I-94 record. If you don't have your I-94 record, you can find that on CBP's website. And then your proof of economic hardship. I would recommend that you also prepare a cover letter explaining why you're applying for work permit and just laying out your, instead of submitting bits of information, have your cover letter that ties everything together. You're going to make a copy of everything you're submitting to USCIS before you mail it out if you're doing the paper application. If you're doing the electronic application, you want to download a copy of your application before you submit it so that you can have that copy for your own records. All right, so that is everything I have on my little note that I wanted to share, but I see that there's a lot of things in the chat. So let's take some questions if I can. Let me stop screen sharing and go to the chat. Okay. So a lot of these questions are probably for you, Jay.
And before Jay comes up, April, if you want to talk about Nigerian Center Immigration Clinic,
Oh, absolutely.
virtual and the walkthrough,